Said in your earlier remarks, this is bipartisan. It's the Safe Cloud Storage Act, and this is something.
Tonight we're examining a rare moment of bipartisan agreement in Congress, a proposal that brings together lawmakers from both parties around a deeply sensitive issue: how law enforcement handles digital evidence tied to child exploitation cases. At the center of this discussion is the Safe Cloud Storage Act, legislation designed to modernize how investigators store and transfer highly sensitive material during criminal investigations. Supporters argue that cloud-based systems could help law enforcement move faster, collaborate more efficiently, and ultimately bring perpetrators to justice more quickly. But when the words cloud storage and child sexual abuse material appear in the same sentence, serious questions naturally follow. How secure are these systems? Who oversees them? And how do lawmakers balance investigative efficiency with the responsibility to protect some of the most sensitive data imaginable? As this statement unfolds, listen closely, not just to what's being promised, but to the safeguards being emphasized and what they reveal about the stakes of this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And indeed, as you said in your earlier remarks, this is bipartisan. It's the Safe Cloud Storage Act. And this is something that is supported by law enforcement. I had the FOP in my office yesterday. Now, a couple of years ago, Senator Ossoff and I did the REPORT Act, and completely bipartisan. In the REPORT Act, we provided NCMEC contracted vendors with the ability to securely store and transfer reports of child abuse from NCMEC to law enforcement. The bill would provide the same protections to law enforcement approved vendors, giving law enforcement the capability and flexibility to securely store and transfer child sexual abuse material in the cloud as they work to investigate these crimes and to hold these child predators accountable. The law enforcement approved vendors who will be storing the evidence in the cloud will be required to follow strict cybersecurity requirements. These vendors must comply with the cybersecurity framework developed by NIST and would be subject to an independent annual cybersecurity audit.
What we're hearing here is a carefully framed argument built around trust, oversight, and urgency. Lawmakers are emphasizing that this bill isn't experimental. They're positioning it as a logical expansion of earlier bipartisan efforts, particularly the previously passed REPORT Act. A key point being stressed is oversight. Vendors approved under this bill wouldn't operate freely. They'd be required to follow cybersecurity standards set by a NIST, one of the most respected authorities in digital security. Annual independent audits are presented as a safeguard meant to prevent misuse, breaches, or negligence. Still, this raises important questions. Even with strict standards, does moving such sensitive evidence into the cloud introduce new risks? And does faster access always translate to better justice? Or could speed come at the cost of accountability? Supporters frame this as a tool, not a shortcut. But how the public interprets that distinction may ultimately shape how this bill is received beyond the committee room.
This bill will give law enforcement an additional tool to investigate and prosecute the crimes, and the Cloud Storage Act would modernize how law enforcement conducts the investigations and give them a greater ability to move quickly through these cases. We've assembled a large coalition of supporters for the bill, from NCMEC to International Justice Mission to law enforcement groups, and I would request to enter the support statements for this bill into the record.
Without objection.
And I am especially grateful to Raven for all their work on the bill, and I want to thank our bipartisan group of co-sponsors, Senators Klobuchar, Cornyn, Blumenthal, Britt, Coons, and Lee, for their support. Looking forward to getting this passed out of committee into the floor. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
This proposal highlights a growing reality in modern law enforcement. Crimes are increasingly digital, and investigative tools must evolve to keep up. The Safe Cloud Storage Act reflects an attempt to balance that evolution with accountability, pairing technological efficiency with formal oversight and bipartisan backing. What's notable here isn't just the bill itself, but the coalition behind it, from law enforcement groups to child protection organizations, all signaling urgency around improving investigative capacity. At the same time, the conversation underscores how fragile public trust can be when sensitive data and emerging technology intersect. So the real takeaway may not be whether cloud storage is inevitable, but how carefully it's governed. Do you believe these safeguards go far enough, or should lawmakers move more cautiously when handling evidence of this nature? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you value calm, fact-based analysis of the policies shaping our justice system, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who want deeper context beyond the headlines.